The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. Let me tell you about Jim McIntyre, and trust me, this guy is about to blow your mind. Picture this. A middle manager at a utility company, early 50s, rocking those short-sleeved dress shirts with an actual plastic pocket protector. His watch? An 18-year-old Timex, not a Rolex. He drove a Ford Taurus. If you passed Jim on the street, you'd think, there goes the most average guy in America. Then one day, Jim strolls into a young financial advisor's office, a guy named David Bach. Jim's wife, Sue, a beautician with bright blonde highlights, is clutching his hand like they're teenagers at prom. They're practically bouncing with excitement. And then Jim drops the bomb. He's retiring next month, at 52 years old. David's sitting there thinking, this is going to be awkward. He knows Jim's story. 30 years at the same company, never making much more than 40 grand a year. The math is screaming that this shouldn't be possible. So David gently starts managing expectations, explaining that most people can't even afford to retire at 65, let alone in their early 50s. Jim just smiles, this serene, knowing smile, and slides a stack of financial documents across the desk. And what David sees next, it literally changes his entire life. Zero debt, not a penny. No car payments, no credit cards, not even a mortgage. 2 homes owned outright. Retirement accounts packed with over $700,000. Another $250,000 sitting in bonds and cash. Total net worth? Approaching $2 million. This ordinary couple, with their modest combined income, had secretly become multimillionaires. And nobody had a clue. Here's the kicker. They didn't win the lottery. No inheritance from a rich uncle, no lucky stock pick that went to the moon. Their secret was so ridiculously simple, so powerful, and so automatic that pretty much anyone could copy it and get the same results. That secret became the foundation of a book that sold over 1.5 million copies and completely transformed how people think about building wealth. It's called The Automatic Millionaire, and David Bach, that young, stunned financial advisor, wrote it based on what Jim and Sue taught him that day. What I'm about to share with you isn't just some book summary. This is a blueprint. A system you can set up in less than an hour that works without budgets, without needing iron discipline, and without feeling like you're depriving yourself of everything fun. By the time we're done here, you'll understand the one powerful truth that can set you on the path to becoming a millionaire, regardless of what you're earning today. You're literally going to learn how to get rich while you sleep, and it all starts with one simple decision. So what was this mysterious secret the McIntyres discovered? When David pressed them for answers, they actually laughed. They told him he already knew this stuff. He taught it in his classes every single day. The only difference? They actually lived it. Their parents had taught them one simple, common-sense rule about money. A rule so powerful it's the foundation of all wealth building. Ready for it? Pay yourself first. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I've heard that before. But hang on, because what this really means is probably the opposite of what you're doing right now. Most of us get a paycheck and immediately start paying everyone else first. The landlord gets paid. The car company gets paid. The government takes their cut. Credit card companies get their piece. And then, if there's anything left over at the end of the month, which, let's be honest, there rarely is, we think about saving it. The McIntyres flipped that entire script. The very first bill they paid from every single paycheck was to their own future. Before anyone else got a dime, they paid themselves. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the detail that changes everything. They didn't rely on willpower. In fact, they admitted they weren't particularly disciplined people. They tried budgeting in the beginning, but it just created fights and frustration. It was a disaster. So they did something brilliant instead. They made the decision to pay themselves first, and then they completely removed themselves from the equation. They made it automatic. They arranged for a chunk of their pay to be yanked directly out of their paychecks and sent to their savings and retirement accounts before they ever saw it, before it could even hit their checking account. Their reasoning was simple and genius. You can't spend money you never see. Once they set up the system, it just ran itself. No discipline required. No budgeting. No arguments. Just a foolproof automatic system for building wealth. They called it protecting yourself from yourself. And it's the absolute core idea of this entire book. If your financial plan isn't automatic, you will fail. Period. But this raises the obvious question everyone has. Where does this money you're supposed to pay yourself even come from? Especially if you're barely scraping by right now, living paycheck to paycheck. This brings us to one of the most famous ideas from the book, the Latte Factor. David tells this great story from one of his investment classes. A young woman named Kim stands up and challenges him. She says, "Look, David, your ideas sound nice in theory, but they're not for real people like me. You keep talking about saving $5 or $10 a day, but I don't have $5 or $10 a day. I'm barely making ends meet." Instead of arguing with her, David asks her to walk him through a typical day. It starts, she admits, with a stop at Starbucks for a double non-fat latte and a non-fat muffin. Total cost? $5. Before she even gets to work, she's already dropped $5. Then there's the juice break mid-morning. Another $5. Before lunch even arrives, she spent over $10 on small, seemingly insignificant stuff, and this is where the magic happens. Bach pulls out his calculator and starts crunching numbers. He shows her that if she, at age 23, could find just $5 a day to save instead of spend, and invested it in a retirement account earning a historical market average of 10%, she wouldn't end up with $100,000. Not even $500,000. She would have nearly $1.2 million by retirement. Kim is absolutely floored. She finally says, "Are you seriously trying to tell me that my lattes are costing me almost $2 million? And the entire class shouts back, "Yes!" That's the Latte Factor. And here's the thing. It's not really about coffee. It could be your cigarette factor, your bottled water factor, your takeout lunch factor, your impulse Amazon purchases factor. We all have these small, daily expenses that we don't even register, money that just leaks out of our wallets like we've got holes in our pockets. David Bach's point is profound. You don't need to earn more money to become rich. You probably already make enough. The secret is finding those little leaks and redirecting that money toward your future, automatically. Building wealth isn't about making one giant, heroic sacrifice. It's about making a series of small, painless, automatic course corrections. Finding $5 or $10 a day isn't about depriving yourself of joy. It's about realizing that those small things can add up to life-changing amounts of money over time. So once you've identified your latte factor and realized you actually do have money to work with, the next step is putting that pay-yourself-first principle into action. How much should you pay yourself? David Bach suggests a simple, powerful benchmark. Work 1 hour a day for yourself. Think about this for a second. The average person works about 90,000 hours over their lifetime. Most of that time, you're working for your boss, for the government, for the bank, for everyone but yourself. But how many hours are you actually working for your own future? If you earn, say, $50,000 a year, that's roughly $25 an hour. 1 hour of your work each day is $25. If you work 5 days a week, that's $125 a week. That's $500 a month, $6,000 a year. It comes out to about 12% of your gross income. The book recommends starting with at least 10%. That's your first hour of every day. It belongs to you and your future. And here's where the system becomes truly elegant. You don't pay yourself after taxes. You pay yourself before taxes. The government figured this out a long time ago. They realized people are terrible at budgeting and saving money to pay their taxes in one big lump sum. So they created a system to pay themselves first. It's called withholding. Before you ever see your paycheck, they've already taken their cut. Automatically. Pretty smart, right? You need to do the exact same thing. You need to muscle your way to the front of the line, even ahead of the government. And you can do this legally by using tax-advantaged retirement accounts. If you work for a company that offers a 401k or 403b plan, this is your golden ticket. It is, as Bach calls it, the mother of all retirement accounts. The money you contribute goes in pre-tax, which means every dollar you save reduces your taxable income by $1. Let's make this real. Imagine you decide to save $100. If you just stick it in a regular savings account, you first have to earn about $130, pay $30 in taxes, and then you can save your $100. But with a 401k, you put the full $130 straight into your account. The government doesn't touch it. It's like getting an immediate 30% return on your money before you've even invested it. And it gets even better. Many companies offer a match. This is literally free money sitting on the table. They might match 50 cents for every dollar you contribute, up to a certain percentage of your salary. If you're not contributing enough to get the full company match, you are literally turning down a 50 or even 100% risk-free return on your investment. It is the single biggest financial mistake you can possibly make. So the first automatic step is signing up for your company's retirement plan, contributing at least enough to grab that full match, and ideally working your way up to 10, 12, or even 15% of your income. You fill out one form, one time, and the system runs forever. That's literally it. Now, what if you don't have a plan at work, or you're self-employed? No worries. You can open your own personal retirement account, called an individual retirement account, or IRA. There are different flavors, like a traditional IRA where your contributions might be tax-deductible, or a Roth IRA where you contribute with after-tax money, but then all the growth and withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. For self-employed folks, there are even more powerful options, like a SEP IRA or a solo 401k. The specific account type isn't the most important thing here. What matters is that you open one and set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to that retirement account every single payday. The bank or brokerage where you open the account can help you set this up in minutes. You literally just have to ask. You automate your retirement savings first. That's your number one priority. This is the money that will compound for decades and grow into a fortune you can barely imagine right now. But what about the present? What about emergencies? This brings us to the next layer of the automatic system, automating for a rainy day. Bach introduces something he calls the sleep well at night factor. Here's the question. Do you have enough cash on hand right now to cover your expenses if you lost your job tomorrow? For most people, the answer is a terrifying no. They have less than 3 months worth of expenses saved. Many have less than 1 month. This creates this constant, low-grade financial stress that follows them around like a dark cloud everywhere they go. An automatic millionaire prepares for life's unexpected curveballs. Your goal is building an emergency fund with at least 3 months' worth of living expenses. A year's worth is even better, because that gives you what Bach hilariously calls take this job and shove it money. It's the ultimate freedom. But here's the key. This money needs to be in the right place, and it needs to be built automatically. You don't just leave it sitting in your checking account where it's way too easy to spend and earns 0 interest. You open a separate high-yield savings or money market account. These are safe, liquid accounts that actually pay you decent interest on your money. Then, you guessed it, you automate it. You set up another automatic transfer. Every payday, right after your retirement contribution gets pulled out, another chunk of your paycheck, maybe 5% of your take-home pay, goes directly into this emergency account. You do this consistently until the account is full. Then you can redirect that money elsewhere. But you build that cushion first, automatically, so that when life happens, and trust me, it will, you're prepared. You won't have to raid your retirement funds or go into debt to handle a crisis. Now we come to what Bach considers one of the most powerful wealth-building secrets of all. Once you've got your future and your emergency fund being funded automatically, it's time to focus on automatic debt-free homeownership. Here's the truth bomb. You can't get rich renting. That's a line you'll hear again and again in this book. When you rent, you're literally paying someone else's mortgage. You could spend $500,000 on rent over 30 years and have absolutely nothing to show for it except a pile of old receipts. But when you buy a home, That same money builds equity. It builds wealth. The statistics are actually staggering. The median net worth of a homeowner is often more than 30 times that of a renter. Owning real estate, starting with the roof over your head, is how most people in this country build real, lasting wealth. But just buying a home isn't enough. The goal is to own it free and clear as quickly as possible. This is where most people get completely tripped up by the traditional 30-year mortgage. For the first 10 years of a 30-year loan, over 90% of your payment goes straight to the bank as interest. You build almost no equity. You're basically working for the bank, not for yourself. So how do you beat the system? You automate it. Bach reveals a simple but brilliant strategy: the bi-weekly mortgage payment plan. Here's how it works. You take your monthly mortgage payment. Let's say it's $2,000. Instead of paying that once a month, you pay half of it, or $1,000, every 2 weeks. Because there are 26 two-week periods in a year, you end up making 26 half payments. That's the equivalent of 13 full monthly payments instead of 12. You make just one extra payment a year, broken up into tiny, painless pieces. The result? You can shave anywhere from 5 to 10 years off your mortgage. You can save tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. On a typical $250,000 mortgage, this simple switch could save you over $44,000 and get you debt-free almost a decade earlier. You can often set this up directly through your lender or a third-party service. Or you can do it yourself by simply adding an extra 10% to your monthly payment, or making one full extra payment a year, making absolutely sure to tell the bank it should be applied directly to the principal. The key, as always, is making those extra payments automatic so you never have to think about it. This brings us to the final piece of the debt puzzle, the one that destroys more financial futures than anything else: credit card debt. An automatic millionaire, Bach states crystal clear, does not do debt. If you're carrying credit card debt paying 18, 20, or even 25% interest, you are in a financial emergency. It makes zero sense to have money earning 1% in a savings account while you're paying 20% to a credit card company. You're playing a game that's rigged against you from the start. So if you have credit card debt, the plan shifts slightly. You still pay yourself first into your retirement account, but maybe you start with a smaller percentage. You build up a small emergency fund, maybe just 1 month's worth of expenses, and then you attack the debt with everything you've got. Bach offers a systematic way to do this called DOLP, which stands for Done on Last Payment. The idea is tackling your debts one by one, creating momentum and a feeling of real progress. Here's the system. List all your credit cards. For each card, divide the total balance by the minimum monthly payment. This gives you your DOLP number. Then you focus all of your extra debt repayment money on the card with the lowest DOLP number, while making only the minimum payments on the others. Why the lowest DOLP number? Because that's the debt you can pay off the fastest. It gives you a quick win and builds momentum. Once that first card is paid off, you close the account, cut up the card, and you feel this huge psychological victory. Then you take all the money you were paying on that first card and add it to the payment for the card with the next lowest DOLP number. You create a debt snowball that gets bigger and bigger, knocking out your debts one by one until you are completely free. And of course, you automate these payments. Set up automatic transfers for the minimums on all your cards, and an extra-large automatic payment for the one you're currently focused on. You make getting out of debt just as automatic as getting into it was. Once your retirement is automated, your emergency fund is automated, your mortgage is being paid down faster automatically, and your debts are being eliminated automatically, there's one final and perhaps most fulfilling step: making a difference with automatic tithing. Bach shares that becoming an automatic millionaire isn't just about piling up money in accounts. It's about living a genuinely rich life. And a rich life involves giving back. The principle of tithing, giving a portion of what you earn back to causes you care about, is a spiritual and financial principle that's been around for thousands of years. He argues that you don't have to wait until you're rich to start giving. You can start right now, today, and you can automate it. Whether it's 1% of your income or 10%, you can choose a charity or cause that matters to you and set up a small, recurring, automatic donation. There's something almost magical that happens when you start giving. You begin to feel wealthy right now, today, not someday in the distant future. You shift your mindset from one of scarcity, of never having enough, to one of abundance. You realize you have enough to take care of your future and enough to help others. The more you give, the more abundance seems to flow back into your life. It's the final piece of the puzzle that turns the cold mechanics of wealth building into a truly rich and meaningful life. So let's put it all together. What does this automatic system actually look like in practice? Bach calls it the Automatic Millionaire Blueprint. Your salary or income is automatically direct deposited into your checking account. From there, the automatic transfers begin like clockwork. First, your pre-tax retirement contribution is pulled out and sent to your 401k or IRA. That's you paying yourself first. Next, automatic transfers shoot off from your checking account to your other priority buckets. One to your rainy day emergency fund. One to a dream account for your goals like a down payment or that vacation you've been dreaming about. Then your bills are paid automatically. Your mortgage, your utilities, at least the minimums on your credit cards. This ensures you're never late, never hit with fees, and your credit score stays healthy. Finally, a small, automatic donation goes to the charity of your choice. What's left in your checking account is yours to spend, completely guilt-free. You don't need a budget because the big, important things have already been handled. You've paid your future self. You've saved for emergencies. You've paid down your home. You've covered your bills. And you've given back. The system is set. You did it once. And now you can get on with your life, actually living it, knowing that every single day your wealth is growing automatically in the background, while you're at work, while you're sleeping, while you're out enjoying life. That is the promise and the power of becoming an automatic millionaire. When you step back and look at the Automatic Millionaire, what's so remarkable about it is its profound simplicity. In a world that makes personal finance feel impossibly complex, filled with jargon, complicated strategies, and constant pressure to pick the right stock or time the market perfectly, David Bach's message cuts through all that noise with one liberating idea. The system is more important than your discipline. What he understood, perhaps better than anyone before him, is that we're all human. We get busy, we get tired, we get tempted. Relying on willpower to consistently make good financial decisions every single day is a losing battle. It's like trying to hold your breath underwater. You might manage it for a little while, but eventually your instincts will take over, and you'll come up gasping for air. The genius of the automatic system is that it acknowledges this human reality and builds a structure around it. It requires you to be smart and disciplined for just 1 hour. In that 1 hour, you set up the automatic transfers, you enroll in the 401k, you make the necessary calls. And after that, the system takes over. It makes the right decisions for you over and over again, month after month, year after year, without you having to think about it or muster up willpower. It's financial success on autopilot. This is a fundamental shift away from the traditional, painful idea of budgeting. Budgeting is about deprivation. It's about tracking every penny and constantly telling yourself no. It feels like going on a strict diet, and we all know what happens with most diets. They fail. The automatic plan is about freedom. It's about saying yes to the things that truly matter. Your future, your security, your home, your dreams, and automating that yes. Once those priorities are handled automatically, you're free to enjoy the rest of your money, without guilt or anxiety constantly nagging at you. I think this is why the book has resonated with millions of people. It's not just a set of financial tactics or clever tricks. It's a philosophy for a less stressful, more intentional life. It gives you permission to stop beating yourself up for not being a perfect, hyper-disciplined financial robot. It shows you that you can achieve extraordinary results with ordinary effort, as long as that effort is directed at creating a system that works for you instead of against you. If you take just one thing away from our time together today, let it be this: your financial future will be determined not by the size of your paycheck, but by the power of your systems. So how can you start today? Right now, before you even finish listening to this, I'd suggest 3 very small, very simple actions. First, for just one day, track your Latte Factor. Don't judge it, just notice it. Carry a small notebook, or use an app on your phone, and write down every single penny you spend. You might be genuinely shocked at what you find. That awareness is the crucial first step. Second, make one phone call or visit one website. Go to your company's HR portal or give them a call and ask for the paperwork for your 401k plan. Just get the forms. That's it. See what your company match is. This one small action can literally be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to you over your lifetime. And third, log into your bank account online and set up one automatic recurring transfer. Just one. It could be $25 a week, moving from your checking account to a separate savings account that you label emergency fund. Watch it happen. Feel what it's like to save money without even trying. These small steps, taken today, are the beginning of a completely new trajectory. They're the start of your own automatic system. That was a summary of The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. We've certainly covered the core framework today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a photograph of a beautiful landscape. It can show you the scenery, but it can't make you feel the sun on your skin or the breeze in the air. The real magic of this book happens when you read it for yourself. It's in the simple, encouraging tone, the stories that might spark an idea specifically for you, the way certain examples land differently when you're reading them at your own pace. This summary is designed to give you a map. If anything we've discussed today has made you feel a sense of hope or possibility, then I genuinely encourage you to get the book. Reading it isn't just about learning a system. It's about starting a journey that can genuinely change your relationship with money and with your future. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to ensure you don't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Your support helps us continue bringing these powerful ideas to more people. Let's keep learning and growing together.